Chapter 1. Introducing Archie. After days of schooling and nights of anticipation, I woke up one morning to find my dreams come true. Major Raoul Lefberry, the most famous of our American flyers and the commanding officer of our group, announced that a flight would take off after breakfast for a look at the war across the German lines. He himself was to lead the flight. The patrol was to be over enemy territory in the Champagne sector. Who was to go was the thought in every pilot's mind, as we all stood by in more or less unconcealed eagerness. None of us had as yet caught a glimpse of our future arenas. We all had vague ideas of the several kinds of surprises in store for us over Hun lines, and every one of us was keen to get into it. Major Lefberry looked us over without saying much. Lef was very quiet in manner and very droll when he wanted to be. He had seen almost 4 years of service with the French Air Service and in the Lafayette Escadrille, and had shot down 17 Hun aeroplanes before the American Air Service began active work at the front. Every one of us idolized Lefberry. "Rick," said the major casually, "you and Campbell be ready to leave at 8:15. I tried to appear nonchalant as I replied, "Yes, sir." Douglas Campbell put up a much better face than I did. The other boys crowded around and presented us with good advice such as, "Look out for Archie, mind," and one thoughtful fellow kindly cautioned me to crash in our lines if the Huns got me so that he could personally put a cross over my grave. That memorable morning was the 6th day of March, 1918. I had joined the Hat in the Ring Squadron just 2 days before at Villeneuve. We were then some 20 miles behind the lines and were well installed in an old aerodrome that had been used previously by several French aero squadrons. This expedition was to be the first essay over the lines by a made-in-America squadron. Sharp upon 8 o'clock, I walked into the 94th Squadron hangar and called my mechanics. We were flying the French single-seater Newport with a rotary motor, and every machine was kept in the pink of condition at all times. Nevertheless, I wanted to make doubly sure that everything was right on this occasion, for Major Lefberry had a reputation for punctuality. "Henry," I demanded, "how is my number 1? "Best machine in the shop, sir," the mechanic replied. "She's been all tuned up since you came in last night, and there's not a scratch on her." "There will be when you see her again," I muttered. "Run her out on the field and warm her up." I left the hangar and looked down the road for the major. Campbell was already in his flying clothes. I wanted to be ready on the exact minute, but not too soon. So I lit a cigarette and kept an eye on the major's door. All the boys came sauntering up, trying to look as though they were not half mad with envy over my chance to get my head blown off first. They wished me well, they said, but they would like to know what to do with my personal effects. When Major Lefberry entered the hangar, he found us ready for him. It takes about 10 seconds to step into your teddy bear suit, slip a flying helmet over your head, and snap on the glasses. Campbell and I climbed into our Newports. The major gave a few instructions to Lieutenant Campbell, then came over to me. I felt like a man in the chair when the dentist approaches. Of course, I listened politely to his parting words, but the only thing that appealed to me in his discourse was the order to stick close to him and keep formation. He did not have to repeat that order. Never before did I realize how seductively cold death beckons a pilot towards his first trip over enemy lines. Lefberry ran up his motor for a moment, then took off. Campbell followed on his heels, and then I opened up my throttle. I cast a last, longing glance at the familiar flying field as I felt my tail go up. The wheels began to skim the ground, and with the wind in my teeth, I pulled her up and headed after Campbell. What a devil of a hurry they were in! I knew I should never catch up with them. The beautiful ruins of Reims soon spread beneath my right wing. My machine was certainly not as fast as either Lefberry's or Campbell's. I continued to hang back far behind my formation. The lines of the enemy were approaching, and Lefberry, my only salvation as it appeared to me, was at least a mile ahead of me. I shall believe to my dying day that Major Lefberry knew my thoughts at that moment, for just as I felt that he had forgotten all about me, he suddenly made a virage and took up a position a few hundred feet from me, as much to say, "Don't worry, my boy, I have an eye on you." Again and again this occurred. It was with great difficulty that I tried to perform the same maneuvers that Major Lefberry executed with such great ease. I grew somewhat interested with my attempts to imitate his example in preserving our little flight formation, and this occupation of keeping within shouting distance of my companions made me forget entirely